Hey guys, trying something new. Got this gimbal. I can't say that I've completely figured out how to use it, but I wanted to try to make a little video of my car. I've put together my build, so I'm going to link this if you want to kind of see more pictures. That's fine, but I felt like this may be a good way to just give a kind of a virtual tour of the car. So basically, what you have in front of you is an E46 M3. It's got a rear wing. I keep the trunk up. It helps my family from hitting their head on the top of the wing, so I kind of keep the trunk up when I have it parked. So I'm going to start, and I'll probably just go to the back, kind of work to the front, and then maybe show you some bits in the middle. So let's go on the tour here. I guess before I get to the back, let's just talk about a little bit about the windows. You can see me in the reflection, but basically I've got these Lexan quarter windows. I've got these D'Souza fasteners holding them in. I added one more little screw. I think you can kind of see that. Let's see if we can make it a little bit more focused. It's really just a riv nut. I was finding that they were flapping a little bit. I don't know if it helped or not, but I put it in there, just another point to secure it. So let's go to the back. Hopefully it doesn't wash out. So there's really not much going on here. You can see the back of the gate, the cage. You can see I've got MCS, non-remote dampers. I've got this little cord, basically its purpose in life. Let's see if we can pick it out here. This is the connection that goes to my cool shirt. When I use it, the cool shirt goes right there, fits in pretty good. I have a little strap. Not much going on with the battery. I've just got this little cheap cover over it. Since I don't have since I have a big hole in the firewall, in the rear firewall, I have to have the battery covered. I keep a full-size battery because I need weight to meet my minimum, and I feel like this is good weight. If you look at the back of the car itself, you can kind of see I don't have a diffuser anymore. I lost that at the beginning of the year. I've got a AJ Hartman diffuser coming in. I've got the Bimmer World rear exhaust with the diffuser exit. So we'll do a little bit of fabrication. I'm not much of a fabricator. Maybe I'll make something up as I put that together, but not a whole lot there yet. So I won a couple tires last event, so I haven't unboxed those yet, but that's pretty cool. So let's go to the front of the car, and there's some more tires, lots of tires. Let's talk about the engine a bit. I've got, you can't see it in the video, but I've got Epic headers, no cat. I've got this Evolve intake manifold. I think it's pretty good, makes a lot of power. Got the IAT relocation there. I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but the Evolve snorkel really doesn't do anything. It basically just kind of ends inside of the engine bay. So what I did, I built a little box just to kind of close off some of the air. And then what I've got, let's see if we can get here without getting crazy, is I've got this little intake that basically just using some AC ducting and some aluminum foil just basically pushes air up through up into that box and feeds that snorkel. I have, since I can't log intake temperature directly, I don't know if you can see it in there, but I'm trying to point to it. But I've got the basic temperature sensor just kind of plugged in as well. And what I found is the temperatures actually stay pretty cool. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. It's not really a whole lot else to show you. I've got this Moroso expansion tank. My temperatures stay cool, so I really haven't had a problem, but I've seen a couple of the OE plastic boxes break. So I didn't want that to happen to me. I guess as far as the engine, I leave the cover off. I don't really think it helps, but just kind of the way it is. You can kind of see I've got one of the nozzles for my fire extinguisher system. Comes into the engine bay. Again, hope never to have to use that, but it is there. So that's the engine bay. I'm going to show you something. Let's see if I can push this down here. I want to show you something that I did. So I was watching AJ Hartman was making a little video of some wind tunnel testing that he was doing, and they were taping off a little bit of the front kidney grills. I think it was on an E46, and it added a little bit of downforce. So I kind of asked him, I said, what if I taped off the whole front? What do you think? He said, yeah, that would probably add downforce. So I've got that going right now. Again, I'm not good enough a driver to know if it makes a difference, but I have it on there. The temperatures are fine. I've got these grills. I got these from one of the M3 forum members, Lawrence. I can't remember, and I don't think Lawrence is his first name. I think it's Lawrence. But anyways, they're pretty good, easy to install. So I really like these. I think it helps a little bit with cooling and getting some of the air out of the engine bay. So that's that. So let's go around to the side and we'll take a look at kind of inside the cockpit, see if there's anything interesting there that I want to point out. So the light is pretty good, so I think you can see it. I really had some problems a few years ago after I rewired the car. I really never liked the way it was. Lost a lot of weight with wiring, but it was a bit of a rat's nest under the dashboard. So this year what I did is I went ahead and I cleaned it up. I basically added a couple fuse panels, one fuse panel, the one that's right there. That one is kind of always on, and it feeds the switch panel, which I'll show you, feeds some of the sensors, the DSE, the steering angle, the wipers, the fuel pump relay, the ignition switch, and then the one, you can't really see it much here, but this should point to it. That's one that is tied off of the ignition. These little relays here are basically the relays for the ignition and the starter. And then this strip over here is just a panel, some extra wires that I needed for the lighting module and a couple other things. I think I have more power than I possibly need, but it was a point where I wasn't really sure how much I wanted to delete. You can also see in here my air to fuel ratio, wideband controller, and there's some other stuff that we'll look at on the other side. And then something that I really like is this CAE shifter. I get a lot of positive comments. A lot of people that are racing are using these. Great shifter. You can still do a money shift. I came close a couple times, but I think I've kind of figured it out since then. But definitely third to fourth is a pretty easy shift. You should really never mess that up. So I think we'll kind of stop here, and I'm going to swing around. A couple things I want to show you though while I'm on this side. You can see the back brace. My seat is more than 5 years, so NASA requires you have a back brace, so I have that. You can see my Smarty Cam. I love that thing. I've been having a couple little issues since I added the MXM. I think I've sorted it out, but we'll see. But typically you can never lose videos. It's really great. Got a little handheld fire extinguisher. Again, haven't used that. And then I've got kind of this fire suppression system with the little hand switch over there. You can see I got the pin on. I need to put that back in. I'd like to keep that pin in when I'm traveling. So let's swing around and kind of see from the cockpit, from the driver's side, what it looks like from there. Got this Race Tech seat with halos. I wear a Hans with the half cage that I have. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a fall line half cage, very well done. Unfortunately, I probably need a full cage, and to do that, I've got to rip that out. So I just haven't pulled the trigger on it, but one of the mods coming down the road. So let's look inside the cockpit and see if we can kind of get the quality pretty good. Tell you what, let me just sit down in the seat. Sorry guys, I am not a video editor. All right, so what do you got here? Over the season, I added the switch panel. I basically have got, these are my wipers. If I push up, it goes slow. If I push down, it goes fast. It doesn't automatically go to the home position, so you just kind of have to time it right. This is for my cool shirt. And then recently I switched. I had the aim where it was powered off the ignition. But again, I kept losing video, so I've got the aim just basically powered right off of this switch. And the aim powers my oil pressure sensor as well. So right now that just got turned on. You can see here's my ignition and my start. So, flip that up, hit the start button. I got rid of, I still have the key in there position, but you don't need the key to start it up. The EWS has been deleted. This is my aim. It's an MXM. I love it. It gives you 4 channels. And what have I added with the 4 channels? I've added my air fuel ratio. I've added brake pressure. I never had that before. And I added oil pressure. And if I need to add more channels, I can convert the air to fuel ratio from just a 0 to 5 volt over to the ECU expansion. Cost me a little bit more money, but I get 2 channels back if I do. Well, I get 1 channel back, and I've already got 1 extra one. I kept my shift lights. I like that because I don't know, I'm just used to it after having it for a few years. Really helps you to figure out when to shift. Now the MXM, I'm going to turn this off by the way. The MXM will do it as well. I don't know if you can see here, but it's got little LEDs, and you can set it up for either shift lights or you can set it up for predictive timer. I chose to set it for predictive timer, so basically every light I think is 0.2 tenths of a second. So every time you're 0.2 tenths better than your best lap in that session, it'll light up. That's a whole nother commentary on whether that's helpful or not. I think sometimes it works against you when you start seeing a lot of lights. You might overdrive, or you might be conservative in some corners, but I think when you're practicing, it's good to know where you're losing and gaining time in real time. The MXM also comes with 2 alarm lights. I've got it set up to be oil and water temperatures and oil pressure. So, and that's the main thing. I spun 2 bearings a couple years ago, and I really wanted to improve my knowledge of what's going on with the oil pressure. Got this quick release steering wheel. I don't know the specs. I'd have to go look through my journal to figure out what it is, but that's really helpful, especially when you have bucket seats and you're trying to get in and out. You really need to have a quick release steering wheel. Well, the other thing probably worth mentioning, I guess, well, I'll mention a couple more things. The OBD connection, and normally it's under the dash, but I basically moved it here just because the way I've got it wired up with the shift lights, that it was a little bit stretched. So that's why that's been relocated there, and it makes it pretty convenient. I didn't mention this on the MXM. It has a USB connection, but it also does wireless. I've got them both. So far the Wi-Fi's been pretty reliable, so I haven't really needed to use that, but if I ever have a problem, I can always use that. I don't know if you can see the let's see it. Try to see if we can get it to, yeah, there you go, clear up. As far as the pedals, you can see obviously I got 3 pedals. I've got this throttle pedal that's got a little extension to kind of make it easier to heel toe. I don't actually heel toe. I basically just roll my foot. It seems to work well enough. The other thing it's probably worth noting, and you'd see that in my build journal, is I do have 3 pedals. This car was SMG when I bought it, but I was having problems with it not shifting from third to fourth sometimes. So I went ahead and I converted it to a 5-speed manual transmission. Conversion is super simple. I haven't done all the coding. The ECU has been coded, so the SMG computer is gone. But if I was to turn this on, you'd see I still get a cog light. I never updated the cluster. And what else do we got down here? I think you can see it. Basically, I've got my transponder for it's, what is it, MyLapse or AMB. You know, they've got all kinds of different names, but that's basically where the main controller is. The actual transponder itself is in the wheel well. So let's get out of the car. I don't think there's anything else to show you here. Maybe got this wink mirror. People are mixed on it. I think it's okay. It does move around a little bit. I tried to add this zip tie to see if that would help, but who knows? Seems to be a little bit better. I think that's it. Let me get out and see if there's anything else that I missed. Apologize. Shut your eyes while I'm moving around. I could probably stop this. I might still do that. Yeah, let me come around and I'm going to show you the brakes. See if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. I've got Brembo brakes in the front. I run Paget yellows for the whole time I've had the car. I know other people like other brakes, and I'm sure they're great. But these Paget yellows are actually really good. I think the faster you get, the less you use the brakes. So, you know, a set of pads will last me, front pads, anywhere from 6 months to a year. Rear pads, anywhere from 1 to 2 years. These front rotors, I put them together in March of 17. I'm not as sure when I exactly put them on the car, but I've definitely had them for over a year, and they're still going strong. And then the rears, shut this door. The rears, that's kind of hard to see. The rears are just the stock calipers, and I think the bias is great. I've got a lot of good feedback on that. I use these ARC 8 rims. I've got 4 sets. They take a beating. Phil's Tire Services said I need to basically get rid of one of the sets. They're getting really hard to balance. Haven't done it yet, but do plan to do it. I primarily race with NASA. I run Hoosier Contingency. They've been really good to me. I've won 2 tires this year, and I won 4 tires last year. In 2017, I won 12 tires, but 2018 was a tough year for me. MCS Suspension, just signed up with their contingency. Vorschlag, I've got their camber plates. I bought my MCS through them. They've been great. Terry's an awesome dude. Basically was TT3 champ in our region for many, many years. So really gave us all something to fight over. I guess another thing, again, it's in my build and it's hard to see, but I got this carbon fiber roof. It's one of the very first mods I did myself. It's quite a job. You know, you got to remove about 100 spot welds to remove the old roof, and then you basically glue it on. It hasn't popped off, but it isn't watertight. When I'm in the rain, it'll leak through a little bit on the side. I think that's probably a good place to stop. We'll just kind of pan back and see what we got here. But I've had this car since, I think I got it in late 2012. I love it. It is freaking awesome. It has been overall pretty reliable, but not without problems. Like I said, I did spin 2 bearings. This is the engine that I spun the bearings in. I tried to rebuild it, had some problems with some camshaft and some oiling issues. I've rebuilt it again. I think it's fine, but I've got some new pistons that I plan to install there. But always good to have a spare engine. I lost quite a bit when the first one blew, so I don't want to lose too much track time. Of course, with coronavirus right now, not much track stuff going on. So I think with that, I'll end this video. So thanks a lot. Hopefully this was interesting to you. If you like it, hit the like button. If you got comments, obviously add those. But you can tell, man, I am not a video editor. All right, let's see if we can stop this.